I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever been lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, and suddenly your brain starts doing disaster math? You think, if my transmission blows out tomorrow, I'm done. If my landlord raises the rent by $200, I'm moving back into my parents' basement. If I lose my job, I have exactly 19 days before I'm staring at an eviction notice. That feeling isn't just stress, it's a physiological state of emergency. When you have $0 in the bank, or even just a few hundred, you are living in a world of financial ghosts. Every noise your car makes, every "we need to talk" email from your boss, every unexpected bill in the mailbox, it's a monster. You are a victim of your circumstances because you have zero margin for error. But then, something happens. You hit a specific number. It's not $1 million, it's not even six figures. It's $10,000. And suddenly, the ghosts disappear. The car rattle is just a repair, not a catastrophe. The "we need to talk" email is just a meeting, not a death sentence. Today, we're going to talk about why that first $10,000 is the most important psychological and mathematical shift you will ever experience. It is the moment you stop being a conduit for the bank's profits and start becoming the architect of your own life. My name is Joey, and I spend way too much time thinking about the invisible milestones that separate the people who get ahead from the people who stay stuck. If you're someone who is tired of feeling like one bad Tuesday could ruin your entire year, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, $10,000 won't let you retire, it won't buy you a Lamborghini, but in the world of personal finance, it is the escape velocity number. It's the point where the gravity of poverty starts to lose its grip. Let's break down the math of the dead zone, the psychological power of the walkaway fund, and the practical blueprint to hit this milestone faster than you think.
Here's the thing about saving money. The beginning sucks. There is no other way to put it. When you start from zero and save your first $100, you feel nothing. You look at your account and think, great, I can buy a nice dinner, whoop-de-doo. When you hit $1,000, you feel a tiny bit of relief, but then you realize that a set of new tires costs $800, and you're back to square one. This is what I call the financial dead zone. It's the period between $0 and $10,000 where your money does absolutely nothing for you. If you invest $1,000 in the S&P 500 and it has a great year, let's say 10% returns, you made $100. That's less than $10 a month. It doesn't change your life. It doesn't pay a single bill. At this stage, compound interest is a rounding error. You are doing 100% of the heavy lifting. You are the engine, the fuel, and the wheels. This is why most people give up. They hear gurus talk about the magic of compounding, but they don't see the magic. They just see the sacrifice. They see the lattes they didn't buy and the trips they didn't take, and all they have to show for it is a number that moves slower than a turtle on a treadmill. But $10,000 is the threshold where the math starts to change. At $10,000, that 10% return is $1,000. Now we're talking about real money. Now your money is paying for your car insurance for the year. Now your money is starting to act like a silent intern who works for free. But the real magic of $10,000 isn't the interest. It's the psychological tipping point. When you are broke, you are a yes man or a yes woman. Can you work this weekend for no extra pay? Yes. Can you take on this project that is way outside your job description? Yes. Can you tolerate this manager who belittles you in front of the team? Yes. Why? Because you have no choice. You are a hostage to your next paycheck. Desperation has a smell, and your employer can smell it. It affects how you negotiate, how you carry yourself in meetings, and how much stress you bring home to your family. But when you have $10,000 in a high-yield savings account, something inside you shifts. You develop what I call the confidence dividend. $10,000 is roughly 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses for most people. It is a get-out-of-jail-free card. Suddenly, you aren't afraid of being fired. You aren't afraid of the company going under. And ironically, when you stop being afraid, you become a better employee. You speak up more. You take more calculated risks. You negotiate from a position of I want to be here, not I need to be here. I have seen this play out dozens of times. People who save their first 10K often see a sudden acceleration in their career. It's not a coincidence. Financial security gives you the mental clarity to think strategically instead of reactively. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. Now, you might be thinking, Joey, $10,000 feels impossibly far away. I'm lucky if I have $100 left at the end of the month. Here's the thing. You are likely paying the broke tax. When you don't have $10,000, everything costs more. You pay for car insurance monthly instead of annually, which costs you an extra 10% in fees. You buy groceries in small, expensive quantities because you can't afford the bulk price at Costco. You pay $35 overdraft fees because your balance is always on the edge. You pay 22% interest on your credit card because you're floating your lifestyle. The math of being broke is designed to keep you broke. It's a series of micro-penalties that drain your tank. Saving $10,000 is like plugging those holes. Once you have the cash, you stop paying interest and start earning it. You buy the buy-it-for-life boots instead of the cheap ones that break every 6 months. You become efficient. If you can find a way to save just $20 a day by cutting one subscription, meal prepping, and driving a slightly more boring car, you hit $10,000 in less than 18 months. That 18 months of sacrifice buys you a lifetime of financial quiet. Isn't that a trade you're willing to make? So, how do we actually get there? We don't do it with willpower, we do it with a system. Step 1, the automated gap. You have to induce artificial scarcity. If your paycheck is $2,000, you need to make sure $200 of it vanishes into a separate, boring savings account before you ever see it. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left, the answer will always be zero. Parkinson's law will make sure of that. Step 2, attack the big three. Don't obsess over the $5 latte, obsess over the $500 car payment, the $2,000 rent, and the $800 grocery bill. If you can downsize your car or get a roommate for just 1 year, you can save $10,000 effortlessly. One big structural change is worth 1,000 small willpower changes. Step 3, the high-yield fortress. Put that money in a high-yield savings account earning 4 or 5%. Don't put it in the stock market yet. This isn't your get-rich money. This is your sanity money. You need it to be liquid. You need to be able to look at that balance on a Tuesday morning and feel the peace. Here's the final truth. $10,000 isn't just a number in a bank account. It's a filter for your life. Once you have it, you stop making decisions based on fear and start making them based on values. You stop wondering, can I afford this emergency? And start wondering, is this how I want to spend my life energy? The first $10,000 is the hardest because it requires a total rewiring of your brain. You have to fight your ancient impulses to spend and consume. You have to endure the dead zone where nothing seems to happen. But once you cross that line, everything changes. The momentum shifts. You've proven to yourself that you are in control. You aren't a victim of the economy. You are a participant in it. If you're currently at $100 or $500, don't look at the 10K mountain and feel defeated. Look at the next $100, then the next, because the person you become while saving that first $10,000 is infinitely more valuable than the money itself. If this video helped you see your bank account differently, share it with a friend who is struggling in the dead zone. Let's help them find their escape velocity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.